Good morning. It's 3 past 6 o'clock. 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin from the Erin McCarty News Center. You like that voice?
I love it.
From the Erin McCarty News Center. Down the other end of the table, Erin's getting local news all set.
Very cold temps are headed our way. 2 early morning shootings today. We'll talk about that. Financial troubles at the aquarium already?
You know, Matt mentioned that when I came in. And of all the stories I just didn't want to hear.
I'm with you.
And we found out something yesterday that Glover and Tarver, they agree on something.
Kind of do.
We will analyze, plus Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, and it's all coming up this hour, and it's right here on KEEL. McCarty, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. The Keel app's a free download presented by Office Furniture Source.
Am I hot? Am I hot?
Oh, every man would say absolutely.
No, I'm.
What
Is
your
it me?
shirt say? It's a little warm in here.
Okay. All right.
You can turn the fan on if you want,
think I
but
will.
the heat's actually on today,
Okay.
and so I know, hard to believe.
Sorry.
Which is a good thing. I'm cool. I'd rather cool the room off than.
You're
put on my
usually wrapped in
blankie.
swaddling clothes,
Yeah.
and laid in the manger. Erin McCarty
Usually
from
wrapped in swaddling clothes, laid in a drunk tank, but
Bethlehem,
whole
Pennsylvania.
other different thing.
Tell me this aquarium story isn't true.
Well, no, it's true. And, maybe we'll catch up with Jake and he can explain
January.
it to
When
us.
did it open? Like late November or something?
I think in November, yeah. They
November,
opened the restaurant
December,
first.
January, and so that's not going well either.
Well, there's some subcontractors who say they've not been paid for the work they did. And so they filed liens against the property. Now, the city says that the aquariums paid all their obligations on the lease, but I think it's a real cheap lease. I think it's, very inexpensive. I don't know what the amount is. But the folks that did the work on the aquarium, like the electrical people and
Say
those
they
sorts
haven't
of things,
been paid.
say they're owed more than 260 G's,
Damn.
which makes me say, geez,
I know.
come on.
What kind of numbers are they doing? I have no idea.
In the first 30 days, they've had over 28,000 visitors, I believe.
So that sounds good to me.
Yeah, if you say everybody pays $5, maybe average, I'm sure there's $10
more than
tickets.
that.
But I mean, if you do school groups,
Mm-hmm.
they don't pay that much. So if it was an average of $10 a person, that's 280 grand.
Right.
So they've had that at least come in. Plus, people buy stuff while they're there. Some go eat.
You've got a post up on the website, keelnews.com.
I do. I did talking about the liens and the changes that they're already
Okay.
making at
What
the restaurant.
changes?
Well, they're basically completely revamping the restaurant. They're changing the menu, changing the hours. They're already changing leadership. Basically,
By leadership, who do they
like whoever was in charge of running the restaurant, the kitchen, and all that, they're gone. They're getting new people
So
in.
We're
obviously,
going to do some live music there a
the
couple of nights.
restaurant was not going well.
Doesn't sound like it.
Well, can I speak bluntly? Pretend like we're not on the radio?
Sure.
Everybody that I had talked to that had been there was like, ooh, don't go. Don't waste your money.
Really?
And I don't like hearing that about a new restaurant in town. I like to have some place when, I have friends coming in for the Independence Bowl, and I'm like, that might be a cool place to take them. Well, not if everybody's saying it's, CRAP.
If you're if you're reorganizing, I heard what you said.
Okay.
If you're reorganizing after like 120 days or 90 days, it's
it was 60 days in when they started.
And I'm going to be real blunt again. If you're in this city and you're starting a new venture, you best be sure you got everything, all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. Negative publicity like that is the death curse in this town.
because you are. How do I phrase this? You don't get two chances around here.
Right. People are not willing to forgive and forget. They're like, man, this place they're already trouble. They're not paying people. If I'm an electrician, am I going to go to a place where they don't pay the bills? No. If I'm a plumbing contractor, am I going to take my family to a place where they don't pay their bills and
most
give them
people-
money?
And most people aren't quiet about stuff like that.
No, they're not.
And the other issue is they're also in charge of revamping Scyport. So if they're, I don't want to say screwing the pooch, but if they're not doing well across the street, and they've got another major project that's a big deal for downtown Shreveport and the community. Are these just growing pains, or is this just,
So last night I'm watching this movie, and in fact it was done here. It was I Saw the Light with Tom Huddleston as Hank
Hiddleston,
Williams.
yeah.
Okay. And this is going to tie together. And at one point, average movie. Really good acting. Really good acting. He and Elizabeth Olsen were both awesome. But it was kind of a vignette movie, not a story. It wasn't a real biopic. In other words, what made Hank Williams tick and eventually unravel. It was like, well, there was this, and then there was this. But the point is, toward the end of his life, he owed everybody money. And his manager is saying, Hank, we got to pay some of these people. You're destroying your career by destroying your reputation. Now, at this point, he's at the kitchen table, and it's 8 in the morning, so he's already drunk. And he says, you know what I want you to tell him? I want you to tell him that every month I take the name of everybody I owe money, and I write their name down on a scrap of paper, and I throw it in a hat. And then I pick out a name, and that's who gets paid. You tell whoever's complaining that if they don't stop calling you, I'm taking their name out of the hat.
Gosh.
No,
I would not. No, I would hope not. I would hope that's
Let me
not
ask
what's
you
going
a
on.
blunt question. If X, Y, or Z is not getting paid, does someone at some point make a conscious decision to not pay them? Not necessarily being because you don't have the money.
Here's what I hope, and again, I'm going to get so much trouble for this. I hope that, and we'll call Jake.
Look,
and
there's
Jake Wood.
nobody who doesn't want this to work.
Oh, we all want it to work. I'm hoping Jake Wood or somebody at the aquarium can come out and say, there was a boob handling our accounting.
Okay,
We
so who
screwed
hired
up.
the boob?
Now the boob is gone, and we have an expert financial guru in there, and we're going to take care of this.
So that would mean we had a boob handling the accounting.
Yeah.
And we had a boob handling the restaurant.
So what boob was hiring them?
That's what I mean.
Right.
You don't have problems 120 days in unless you've got problems. 19 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic and weather updates coming up right now. Here's Ruben, and he's on Keel.
Everything's still running nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, mostly cloudy today with a cold rain at times. Temperatures will hold in the 40s, cloudy, low 37 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Six 101.7 FM, 710 Keel Sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Former Elysian Fields Yellow Jackets head coach and current SMU head coach Chad Morris is reportedly in negotiations with Arkansas to become the next Razorback football coach. Morris had a 169-38 record as a Texas high school coach, including a pair of state titles at Lake Travis. He rose through the college ranks as the offensive coordinator at Tulsa before taking the same position at Clemson, working under Dabo Swinney for 3 years, and then he moved from there to becoming the head coach at SMU, where he is currently 14-22 after 3 years. The Mustangs won only one game the year before Morris arrived in his first year. He doubled that up, and then last year won 5 games. This year, they're 7-5 and will face Louisiana Tech on December 20th in the DXL Frisco Bowl. Once again, Chad Morris could be announced as early as today as the head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Speaking of the Hogs, last night they wore out visiting Colorado State in basketball 92-66 in Bud Walton Arena. The 6-2 Hogs have won all 4 of their home games by an average of 25 points per game. Sophomore C.J. Jones led Arkansas with 19 points to match his career best. Former North Caddo Rebel Robert Williams had 4 points and 7 rebounds and missed a half-court game-tying three-pointer by just a matter of inches as the Texas A&M Aggies fell for the first time this season, losing in Arizona 67-64. And 6-1 Louisiana Tech hosts 7-1 Stephen F. Austin tonight at the Thomas Assembly Center at 6:30. If you like scoring, you're going to like this game. Both of these squads average over 80 points per game. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
No, you had a bad calamari moment.
Well, that didn't really get me super sick. It just was not as pleasant as it should have been.
What are you doing?
I want to be Vanna White one day.
Okay, if they're not watching on video, they can't see you.
I understand.
If they're not watching the KEEL Facebook page,
well, go watch.
How
are you not watching?
I love the fact
it's entertaining.
that she has the sign pointed completely opposite from the damn camera. It's
Is that
awesome.
better? Is that
no,
better?
You're out of frame still. You're terrible
no.
at this.
1017 FM. So, are you crashing into things?
Yeah. Oh, man, on my knee. What do they replace a knee with, by the way, when they replace a knee?
Hold on a second. 1017 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert and Erin, 625.
Is it titanium?
I beg your pardon?
Is it titanium?
Yes, like the boat.
Do they?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So you get a titanium knee.
Yeah.
Man, does it squeak?
If you don't work out, you gotta start jogging immediately.
And carry a can of oil.
Did you just get a text on the aquarium?
I don't know if I did I?
No, because you said about the general contractor and stuff.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry. Yeah, we need to clear this up because if this is true, then it changes things a little bit.
Well, kind of. And then Matt, you tell them what you told me as soon as she reads this.
In all fairness to the aquarium, it's the general contractor that actually owes the subcontractors. If the aquarium is not paying the general contractor, then that's another story. But I don't think the general contractor has filed a lien on the property.
And what here's exactly, some of this information came from the Shreveport Times. It's being reported that 7 liens were filed against Planet Aqua Group and the general contractor. And spokesman for the Planet Aqua Group, Jake Wood, emailed the Times and said, quote, Planet Aqua Group has communicated with the city that we are working with Weiland Contracting, the general contractor, to make sure that any liens or outstanding invoices are satisfied as soon as possible. It's our priority to ensure that all due parties are paid in full.
So here's my question.
It's a great question.
If they'd paid the contractor, would they say publicly, we paid the contractor, he hadn't paid the other people?
I'd be screaming that.
Well,
we have paid the general contractor completely. We're going to find out why the subcontractors haven't been paid. We will get to the bottom of this.
Unless the general contractor is also doing your work on your building across the street and you don't want to burn any bridges or throw anybody under the bus.
And you're in a rush because you got an end-of-year event you're trying to get it open for. You're like trying to make nice with that kind of general contractor.
And I reiterate, you don't want to burn any bridges or throw anybody under the bus because you need them to show up on time, and you need some stuff done by the end of the year.
We'll get to the bottom of it.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty going to break in just a couple of seconds. The Erin McCarty News Center, personed by Erin McCarty, will have all the local news. I saw this off the top of your head. We've got about a minute. Off the top of your head, who are the top three, the highest three paid college football coaches?
Jimbo Fisher.
Okay, number one, Jimbo Fisher. Amount doesn't really matter for the sake of the point I'm going to make.
Yeah.
Jimbo Fisher. Who are the other two?
I'd put Nick Saban in
Nick
there.
Saban is in there. One more.
Ooh.
Just signed a new contract a couple of days ago.
Gosh, I saw that. Who was it?
Gus Malzahn.
Gus, at Auburn.
So the top three, the three highest paid, leap in when you know what I'm going to say. The three highest paid football coaches in all of college football: Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban, Gus Malzahn, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Auburn are all
SEC coaches.
Not closer than that. SEC East, West rather.
Oh, yeah.
All three, the three highest paid college football coaches are all not only in one conference, but in one division of that conference.
And two of them learned everything they know at LSU. That's a stretch. It's a stretch.
No, to the contrary. So my question is, what happened? Where did they come up? Why did they leave? What's Coach O getting paid compared to those guys?
Oh, probably not even close. Not
Couple
even
million
close.
a year?
Yeah, he's doing okay. He gets his share of Raising Cane's.
Uh-huh.
That's going to trouble me because that's going to change the salary structure for all SEC coaches, and all coaches. To be honest, I mean, if you're a hot shot coach, you're going to look at those deals and go, "You got to get close to that before I'm making a move." We shall see. I'm not sure.
Jimbo Fisher, $7 million plus. Nick Saban, $7 million plus. Gus Malzahn, $7 million plus.
How much do those players get, by the way?
All in the Southeast Conference Western Division. 629, it's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic time. Here's Ruben.
Everything's still running nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Mostly cloudy today with a cold rain at times. Temperatures will hold in the 40s. Cloudy, low 37 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
The wildfires in California continue to burn and spread. One witness described seeing the blaze coming closer to him and to his home.
All we heard was the fire was in Santa Paula, and then it was, next thing you know, we looked in our backyard and it was over the hill.
California's been battling wildfires in recent months, causing thousands to evacuate. The Bossier Council votes 4-2 against an ordinance that would have allowed public alcohol consumption in the new East Bank district and at the boardwalk. Those for the measure said it would have provided a more business-friendly and festive atmosphere and bring in more people. Those against say the ordinance would have kept families away from the area. Could a management change be on the way at University Health? State Representative Cedric Glover says we have to do something.
We've got to at least be willing to not continue to operate the way we have, but acknowledge that there are challenges and that there is an unlevel playing field that Shreveport is operating under in so many different ways, and begin to be willing to go down and fight for.
State Senator Greg Tarver says our area has been seen as stepchildren for the most part.
I know one thing. I know the people who control in this situation is from South Louisiana, and I don't believe they have North Louisiana best at heart. They treat us like stepchildren. They think we're part of Texas, not Louisiana.
Ochsner is working on a deal to help manage the hospital. Contractors claim they haven't been paid for work at the new aquarium. Matt Parker with that.
A group of subcontractors are alleging that they are owed roughly $262,000 for work done on the new Shreveport Aquarium. The group filed liens against Planet Aqua for the unpaid sum. Jake Woods, spokesman for Planet Aqua Group, says the group is working to make sure all due payments are paid in full. Africa Price from the city of Shreveport says that Planet Aqua is fulfilling all lease obligations with the city. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
A Houghton man dies in a crash on I-49. Stephen Lane of Houghton died in the crash on the interstate. Lane was headed north when he collided with a disabled semi-trailer rig on the right shoulder of the road. Impairment not suspected. Shreveport police investigating 2 early morning shootings in Cedar Grove. The first happened just after 1 on Babylon Street. The victim was shot in the abdomen. About a half hour later, another person was shot 3 blocks away on Bethany Turner Lane. The condition of both victims unknown. Police still searching for suspects. A cold front has crossed the state, bringing Louisiana its coldest weather of the season. State climatologist Barry Kime says by Friday and over the weekend, we'll see temps in the 30s in the morning with afternoon highs in the 50s. He says there's also a chance for a light freeze across our region.
Those folks certainly need to protect your pets, plants, pipes, and people. And, of course, that holds true for the entire state in terms of protecting your plants and your pets and people as well, because, like I said, it's going to be a pretty chilly run.
Kime says even as the front moves offshore, clouds and rain will stay in the forecast. Louisiana Secretary of State Tom Shedler says they're looking at replacing voting machines. He says tampering with the current machines is remote, but a new system would further decrease the chances of tampering. He's waiting approval from the State Division of Administration. If he gets the okay, the new touchscreen system would provide better confirmation for voters.
It would produce, after you vote on the screen, an actual paper ballot that would show you exactly how you voted.
The Harris County DA's office says it's bringing significant charges against 5 detention center officers accused of beating an inmate last year. Assistant DA Jules Johnson announcing the charges.
The Harris County grand jury elected to indict 5 detention officers employed with the Harris County Sheriff's Office. Ringel, Roel, Bigler, Harmon, and Garibay.
Jerome Barty says he was attacked by the officers in September of last year while being moved to a medical ward. Lot of buzz about the future of Darius Geis at LSU. He says he'll decide about his future after the Citrus Bowl. He's expected to be selected in the first round of the draft if he leaves early. Tiger Rag editor James Moran says he'd be shocked if Geis stayed another year.
The fact that he's been dealing with a knee injury all year, I think that NFL teams will like the fact that he was able to tough it out and play hurt. I would think coming back for another year and risking a more serious injury or just, the general adage about miles on the tires of a running back, or at least have the potential to do damage to his draft stock.
Another sports note, already a nominee for Time's Person of the Year award, Colin Kaepernick received the Muhammad Ali Legacy Award at the Sports Illustrated ceremony. The former football player says he hopes to live up to the legacy the award's namesake represents.
I accept this award not for myself, but on behalf of the people. Because if it were not for my love for the people, I would not have protested. And if it was not for the support from the people, I would not be on this stage today.
Kaepernick began protesting before the start of NFL games by kneeling during the national anthem. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
The pain in my foot had become so bad that I
Ooh, short segment because we had an awesome newscast from the Erin McCarty News Center. We'll call it that after you're gone, too.
Yeah, thank you.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. The KEEL app's a free download from Office Furniture Source. So if Darius Geis, you had the story in the news.
Mm-hmm.
So if Darius Geis says, man, you know, I don't, because it's sort of like deja vu all over again. If Darius Geis says, oh, you know, I'm gonna go pro next year and don't want to take a chance of really hurting myself. I've been battling a knee injury I think I'm going to sit out the Citrus Bowl.
Well, Leonard Fournette did it, didn't he?
That's what I mean.
I would not be surprised if he said it out. The win doesn't matter. I mean, it really doesn't matter. Who cares if you win the Citrus Bowl?
So you're saying to the Citrus Bowl and the organizers and the TV networks and the sponsors and the millions and millions and millions of dollars and your school and your fans, you don't matter. Sorry, I might get hurt. Then why play the season? Why play the games? Why go to college? Why just not train? Never play a college game, just work out. And then when you're 19 or 20, I think you have to be 20 or the end of what would be your sophomore year.
Well, the bowl games have no impact on can you win a national title? Can you win the SEC championship?
If it came
the bowl
down,
game is a bonus game.
If Darius Geis, we had this discussion last year, so really only 2 games matter.
No.
Really, only 2 games matter, the 2 semifinal games. All the others are BS. All the others
That's how I feel right now.
Are a waste of time.
I'll watch a bunch of the other games.
So if Darius
I'll probably go to the Independence
So if Darius
Bowl.
Geis sits out, you go, I get that. If Danny Etling...
I have no problem with him
If Danny
sitting out.
Etling sits out, I got no problem with that.
If it's my kid, I'm dragging him out of there.
If every LSU player, or for that matter, every college player who has a chance to be drafted into the NFL suddenly stood up and said, you know, I'm going to Fournette you guys on this one.
Right.
I don't want to take a chance of getting hurt in a meaningless game and damaging my money.
We had this discussion last year. It's the same.
And
he's not going to be the only guy sitting out. Trust me.
How many players? Let me see. There's 30 teams. There's 6 or 7 rounds, so we're talking 200 and some odd players. What if the 200 players that are going to be drafted in this spring's NFL draft all said, sitting out? Ain't worth taking a chance. I know I'm healthy now, and I want to be healthy for the draft. I want to be healthy for the combine.
I would not hold it against them.
So
I really wouldn't.
You'd have
unless
bowl
you're
game,
in the semifinals.
You'd have nothing. Okay, so we're back to only two games.
If you're still in the running for the national championship, you got to bring everybody.
Else sit your starters because you know what? You don't want them to get hurt and damage their chances of a paycheck.
You just want to collect the check from the bowl and go home.
641, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Yeah, but how much is the bowl going to give you if you're playing third stringers because your first stringers don't want to get hurt?
Got a contract.
Traffic time. Here's Ruben.
Everything's still running nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Cold rain at times today, remaining cloudy with temperatures holding in the 40s. Cloudy tonight, low 37 degrees. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
.1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin. Okay, so we can talk about this Steve Prater and Chief Crump thing, right?
Sure, absolutely.
So bring me up to speed, up to date. Evidently, well, we knew about the meeting.
Yes, Sheriff Prater's told us about this, several months ago, that he had a meeting with Chief Crump. They sat down and talked about ways they could cooperate. And he said, essentially, Chief Crump told us on Keel that essentially he said, that the chief said he really didn't need his help. Well, now the sheriff takes the same stump speech to the Republican group, and I guess one of the TV stations was there. I'm not sure.
So hold on a second. Just let me get this straight in my mind. And I remember that Sheriff Prater said that he had the meeting about offering manpower assistance to the Shreveport police
to help fight crime.
And the Chief Crump went, look, we appreciate it.
Thanks, but no thanks.
We got this.
Yeah.
Whether we got this or not, we got this.
Well, now there's a little more coming out.
So Prater said that at a speech yesterday, the same Republican group, the Cattle Republican group that we spoke to a couple of months ago also.
Yeah, yes, he made the same kind of speech that he told us. And one of the TV stations got Chief Crump to comment on it, where Chief Crump says that's not quite how it went. That, he got the impression in the meeting that the sheriff was telling him, that he didn't know if he had the manpower or the budget.
Then why would you have the meeting? Why would you get together so...
Well, that's the other thing that's interesting about this is because the sheriff told us, and he also said at the meeting yesterday, that the only reason they had the meeting, that Alan Crump told him, the sheriff, that the only reason he was there at the meeting was because the mayor told him to go. And that's why he went. And I'm like, that's not how you open a meeting or how you go to a meeting. I mean, you go to a meeting saying, what can we do together?
But on the other hand, these are two law enforcement officials who have probably known each other for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And I would assume, yay rather than nay, that they have a relationship of frankness. And that Crump said, look, I don't mean to be wasting your time, but the mayor made me do this. At least that's Prater's story, right?
That's what the sheriff says, yeah. The chief says he got the impression in the meeting that it was going to be an issue of money and manpower and that it might not work out. So you have them telling kind of two different things because there was a plan. We'd talked to Council Chairman Fleury about, yes, getting the sheriff to come in and help and possibly getting a parish commission to help fund it because they have more funds available and they have an interest in all of the parish.
And yet Chief Crump's public stance seems to be, we, i.e. the Shreveport police, thanks, no thanks. In other words, we're handling this. We've got everything's under control. We don't need more manpower. We don't need more visibility on the streets. I'm in charge. Everything's hunky-dory.
Yeah. But I spoke with someone within the police department yesterday as well who said, take a look at these murders. Take a look at them closely. These are not just, I'm mad at you, fire a shot at you. He said a lot of them are executions. People are being shot multiple times. They're being shot point blank in the head from short distance away. He said these are real brutal, violent people that are on our streets, and we really need to do something. We're approaching 50 murders now. I think we're at 48.
So the question be asked, based on what you just said, is there a gang war or gangs war going on in Shreveport right now?
I don't know. I know we have a serious drug problem. And a lot of these, they will also say,
we have a serious drug sales problem. Well, we have a drug problem, too, because somebody's buying, but you see my point.
Yeah, exactly. When they say a lot of these people know each other, yeah, they do, because they're in that world of buying and selling drugs, etc. Now, there are a bunch of them, though. We need to make it clear, because Baton Rouge has got huge spike right now in domestic violence killings. Shreveport's also seen our share of those as well. But you have to kind of group them in two different groups, because you address those two different kind of violent episodes differently. If you've got a gang problem and you've got people being executed with multiple shots, or shots to the head or to the ear or just really things that you wouldn't hear about just in a random shooting. Oh, I'm just going to shoot and maybe I'll hit somebody because I was having a fight with him about money or something. It's getting to the point now where I'm a little concerned for who's doing all these shootings.
Well, you know who's doing it. It's
Bad guys.
Drug, yes.
Yeah. And how do you stop it? And I question too, is bringing the sheriff in even going to help? What could they do? I know the sheriff told me, and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but he told me we need to get everybody that's sitting behind a desk and get them on the street.
649, it's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update. Do we have time for Ruben? Then I'll just do the KeelAccuWeather.com forecast. Kind of cloudy and rainy and cold today. We may not get much above 50. Right now, 43 at KEEL 650. Here is your money now. It is 8 before 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Time for sports. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Former Elysian Fields Yellow Jackets head coach and current SMU head coach Chad Morris is reportedly in negotiations with Arkansas to become the next Razorback football coach. Morris had a 169-38 record as a Texas high school coach, including a pair of state titles at Lake Travis. He rose through the college ranks as the offensive coordinator at Tulsa before taking the same position at Clemson, working under Dabo Swinney for 3 years, and then he moved from there to becoming the head coach at SMU, where he is currently 14-22 after 3 years. The Mustangs won only one game the year before Morris arrived in his first year. He doubled that up, and then last year won 5 games. This year, they're 7-5 and will face Louisiana Tech on December 20th in the DXL Frisco Bowl. Once again, Chad Morris could be announced as early as today as the head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Speaking of the Hogs, last night they wore out visiting Colorado State in basketball 92-66 in Bud Walton Arena. The 6-2 Hogs have won all 4 of their home games by an average of 25 points per game. Sophomore C.J. Jones led Arkansas with 19 points to match his career best. Former North Caddo Rebel Robert Williams had 4 points and 7 rebounds and missed a half-court game-tying three-pointer by just a matter of inches as the Texas A&M Aggies fell for the first time this season, losing in Arizona 67-64. And 6-1 Louisiana Tech hosts 7-1 Stephen F. Austin tonight at the Thomas Assembly Center at 6:30. If you like scoring, you're going to like this game. Both of these squads average over 80 points per game. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
You know, I think we need to renew this conversation over and over and over again through the course of the morning. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, and the KEEL app's a free download from Office Furniture Source.
Got a big hour coming up. We're going to talk about your egg problem with Ag Commissioner Mike Strange. Just
Not
past
mine.
7.
Evidently, California has a problem.
Yeah, and then we're really going to have a great conversation at 7:40 with Wags, Stephen Wagaspack, who's the head guy at Lobby. That tax change, the impact on businesses in Louisiana.
I also want to stay on this Darius Geist thing. What if he sits out? Will you be mad? What if every player who is going to be drafted in any college, from any college, in a bowl, they say, I'm not playing. I'm not playing.
I know.
Don't want to damage my chances. 6:56, here's Rush on KEEL.
During the Obama regime, liberals came up with all kinds of creative ways to explain away the pathetic economy. They told us the traditional business cycle was over, that anemic growth was the new normal. They celebrated the supposed joys of fun employment. Obama himself declared that certain jobs were never coming back. That's wrong. Today, consumer confidence is at a 17-year high. Unemployment is low. The markets are soaring. Economic growth is beating all expectations. But not everybody's happy about it. In Sunday's Washington Post, columnist Robert Samuelson warns us to beware an economic boom. We don't need an economic boom, but that's what we may be getting, he writes. He says since the election of Donald Trump, the stock market's up almost 24%. And the 4.1% unemployment rate's the lowest in 17 years. We have back-to-back quarters of 3% economic growth. All of that is not good. Samuelson argues that long stretches of good times can become self-destructive. People, consumers, business owners, managers, bankers, investors, entrepreneurs become sloppy, overconfident, and complacent. He predicts the bigger the boom, the bigger the bust will be that follows. We have an entire generation of Americans who don't even know what it's like to live in a boom economy. We finally have one. They deserve to find out, and the left is telling us we don't deserve it because it's only going to mean bad times ahead.
American Ground Radio, where building a better America begins with building a better us.
Every single person has the opportunity, the chance, the risk to be corrupted when they get power.
You mean if they're not already oriented in the mindset that they are a public servant?
Return each weeknight from 6 to 7 p.m. with Louis R. Abalone and Stephen Parr on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL and streaming live at KEELnews.com.
Good morning, 659, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Don't forget about the KEEL app from Office Furniture Source, a free download. Meantime, one more look at traffic this hour. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Uri Drive and East Berg-Coons Industrial Loop's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, mostly cloudy today with a cold rain at times. Temperatures will hold in the 40s, cloudy, low 37 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning. It's 3 past 7 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert and Erin. You like this Erin McCarty News Center thing, huh?
Loving it.
It's a huge operation. The Erin McCarty News Center. She's getting stuff together right now. What you got?
3 early morning shootings in Shreveport. We'll talk more about that. Who is named Times Person of the Year? You might be surprised.
Yeah, I'll put a lot of credibility in that one.
And University Health Management. We'll hear from 2 local lawmakers about what should happen.
Okay, a couple of guests this hour. Help me out. Coming up at 7:10, we have...
Ag Commissioner Mike Strain going to talk about the California egg debacle.
It literally is a tariff. No, they're throwing up. Talk about building a wall. It's a wall of eggs, and California is doing it. And Stephen Wagsback, who's the Louisiana State business guy.
Wagaspack.
At about 7:40.
You bet.
The other guy, I think, is an actor. I don't know. Plus Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather. And it's all coming up this hour right here on Keel.
The Keel Morning Report. Now on 1017 FM and 710 Keel.
Shreveport police investigating 3 early morning shootings. The first happened just after 1 on Babylon Street. The victim there shot in the abdomen. About a half hour later, another person was shot 3 blocks away on Bethany Turner Lane. The third shooting happened on Gary Street near Galilee Baptist Church. No information about any of the victims has yet been released. The hashtag #MeToo movement wins recognition as Time's 2017 Person of the Year. The finalists for the honor included President Trump and North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. All sides working on a deal for the management of university health. State Rep Cedric Glover telling Keel News we must look to the future of the local hospital.
By taking all of the gravitas that they bring as a hospital system, combine that with a medical school and a teaching hospital and a research component, and we have the potential to be able to see these assets here go forward and really fulfill the vision that so many of us have had for them over the years.
State Senator Greg Tarver telling Keel News we must take control of what's happening locally.
I just want to see us more independent and control our own destiny. If you let other people in here from South Louisiana, you're not going to be able to control your own destiny. LSU was doing very well, making money years ago, and all of a sudden they stopped making money when they did this partnership type of thing.
Oshner working on a plan to help manage the hospital. The Bossier Council votes 4-2 against an ordinance that would have allowed public alcohol consumption in the new East Bank District and at the boardwalk. Those for the measure said it would have provided a more business-friendly and festive atmosphere and bring in more guests. Those against the ordinance say it would have kept families away. Contractors claim they haven't been paid for work on a new aquarium. A group of subcontractors alleging that they're owed roughly $262,000 for work they did at the aquarium downtown. The group filed liens against Planet Aqua for the unpaid sum. Jake Wood, a spokesman for the aquarium, says the group is working to make sure all due payments are paid in full. Africa Price from the city of Shreveport says Planet Aqua is fulfilling all lease obligations with the city. A Houghton man dies in a crash on I-49. Matt Parker with that.
Stephen Lane of Houghton has died in an accident on I-49. Lane was driving northbound on the interstate when he collided with a disabled semi-trailer on the right shoulder of the road. Impairment in the wreck is not suspected.
Lots of buzz over the Instagram post by LSU star Darius Geis, which says he will decide whether to enter the draft after the Citrus Bowl against Notre Dame. Tiger Rag associate editor James Moran says Arden Key is another player likely to leave LSU and be picked in the first round. He says also expected to go pro are cornerbacks Dante Jackson and Kevin Tolliver.
Ed Ogeron has said he assumes they're leaving, though neither of them have made any kind of decision yet or made any kind of public declaration yet.
Guy said he was frustrated by a knee injury he dealt with throughout the season. Snowflake. It's a disparaging term used to describe overly sensitive young people. Now research shows snowflakes don't like to be called snowflakes. More from Gary Bumgarden.
Some people might argue that the research proves that the moniker is well-earned. The insurance company Aviva finding that 72% of people between the ages of 16 and 24 believe being called snowflake is damaging to their mental health. But before making light of this, consider that the research also finds that nearly half of the people in that age range say that they suffered stress or anxiety over the past year. The research was conducted in the United Kingdom. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.com.
10 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. It is time for this morning's traffic. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Uri Drive and East Coons Industrial Loop's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Mostly cloudy today with cold rain at times. Temperatures will hold in the 40s. Cloudy, low 37 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Good morning. It's 13 past 7 o'clock. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Don't forget about that KEEL app. It's a free download, and it's brought to us by Office Furniture Source. Lieutenant Governor of Louisiana, Mr. Billy Nungesser. Hey, Mr. Billy, how are you this morning? Thank you for taking time for us.
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I want to start with something this morning that's a little off the path, if you don't mind. Somebody a couple of weeks ago, your name came up in conversation just as we were discussing state officials, and the point they made was that this lieutenant governor, meaning in this case Billy Nungesser, seems to be a little more outspoken, a little more opinionated, a little more involved in, I don't want to say social issues, but I think you know what I mean, than previous lieutenant governors. I know we've had you on before talking about any number of controversial topics. Lieutenant governor is normally not a very controversial office, and I know you don't mean to make it that, but on the other hand, I know you have a lot of opinions about things. Is this by design, or just are you just following Billy's impulses?
Well, I try to always do the right thing and speak my mind in what I believe in, and everybody's got their opinion, and I think it's important that I speak my opinion when I think it's appropriate. Two of those issues. One is me coming out against the taking down of the monuments, which I don't think was an issue we needed to embark upon in Louisiana. We've got enough problems. They've been there for 100 years, and I think it was politically motivated and not a good thing for Louisiana. And the other is the fact that I didn't go to the Saints game when we had our tourism trip to London, because I work closely with all the veterans and the Gold Star mothers and support all those groups. And I think many of those people that lost someone in war, the one thing they hold on to is that flag and that national anthem, and they're proud that their son or loved one was willing to give their life for our country. And I think anything that takes away from that, if it hurts one family, it's one too many. And still am very disappointed in the NFL and their efforts, and have not attended a game.
You are a huge tourism guy, and I've always wanted to ask you this. So since you brought it up, if New Orleans takes down Andrew Jackson, does that hurt tourism in New Orleans? Because I know a lot of people who say, man, I'm not going down there anymore. I'm just not going. Would this be another blow that would hurt our state's biggest city?
Absolutely. When they started taking in the monuments, we were in the midst of bringing the Veterans Convention to New Orleans. And we got letters and emails of people that said they weren't coming to that convention. So anything that negatively impacts our state or our communities will hurt tourism. And, we are on a roll in Louisiana. International visitors up 37%, our fifth record-breaking year. And all these controversial things I don't think benefits us as a state or does not help tourism.
On a brighter note, it's almost 2018, Mr. Billy. What's the plan? What's the goal? What's the Billy Nungesser, Lieutenant Governor, mission statement for next year?
Well, I think, we started this foundation, Culture, Recreation, and Tourism, that's going to allow us to do the private-public partnerships with the state parks. And we've got two state parks for the first time ever making money just by working a little bit more like a business and having crews go around and fix things instead of a plumber sitting in every state park. So my goal is to make our state parks and museums, through this foundation, these private-public partnerships, less dependent on tax dollars for the state, to increase our tourism and to get our Louisiana citizens to staycation here in Louisiana. If every citizen takes one vacation when they would leave the state and they would see a part of Louisiana they haven't seen, that would increase our tourism right here at home. And it would make our residents more knowledgeable about all the great things all over Louisiana. And when they leave the state talking about it, they're our best salespeople and help us sell Louisiana.
This quote from the Hodges Gardens folks, and I know you probably have seen this. Friends, it's sad to report the Office of State Parks has failed to uphold its contractual obligation to sufficiently fund and continuously operate Hodges Gardens. Effective October 1, Hodges Gardens will return. You've seen it. What's going to happen with Hodges Gardens? It is a jewel in our region.
Absolutely. When we were blindsided with a letter from that foundation that said effective immediately, they're going to start the process to take the gardens back from the state due to the many years of backlog of repairs and maintenance and neglect to those gardens. When we got that letter, we were blindsided. We asked for some more time. We tried to work out a deal with the Sabine River Authority to take it over. We thought that was going to work, but it was out of our control. It's not a park that we just went out and closed, as we have committed to juggling the funds, and we've received budget cuts every year like everyone else. But one thing that a lot of people don't realize is the last governor took $54 million in self-generated funds from state parks, swept that in 8 years from the state park system. I didn't even know that till I took office. So we started with millions in backlogs of repairs and maintenance at all the state parks, and we just didn't have the control to keep that park. And working with Jay Darden and the administration, which has all the contracts for our facilities and our partnerships, we didn't think we could. We had a leg to stand on because we didn't have the $7 million that was required to get it in top shape. So hopefully, with this foundation, through this private-public partnership, once we're raising some money in this foundation, I'm not giving up on one day us taking it back over and making it open to the public. I truly don't know the intentions of the board of taking it back from us and not just helping us get it back in shape. So I'm at a loss at what their intentions are.
Well, continuing discussion on that. Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, thank you so much, and Merry Christmas. We'll chat again next month.
Thank you, Mr. Billy. Our pleasure.
Y'all have a Merry Christmas.
You too.
19 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Ag Commissioner Mike Strain standing by. That is up next. A wall of eggs between Louisiana and California. That's coming up. In the meantime, here's Ruben.
The intersection at Uri Drive and East Coons Industrial Loop's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, mostly cloudy today with a cold rain at times. Temperatures will hold in the 40s, cloudy, low 37 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
22 past 7 o'clock. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel.
Love this guy.
Another feller standing by, Dr. Mike Strain, Louisiana Commissioner of Agriculture. Hey, Dr. Mike, how are you today?
Well, down here in South Louisiana.
We wanted to talk about the details
of Egggate,
of the building a wall of eggs between California and Louisiana. What's the deal with that? You read a couple of stories, but what's the real story about why is California doing this and why is Louisiana with a bunch of other states suing, I guess, the state of California?
Oh, we're losing him. You still there, Mike? Doc?
Uh-oh.
Did we lose him?
Can you hear me?
There you are. Okay.
Yes.
Could you hear my initial question okay?
Yes, I did. I did.
Okay.
It started off as a ballot initiative in California, and what they did, they passed a law in California and then further passed additional laws that basically says that in order to sell eggs in California, your chickens have to be where they have 116 centimeters each in their cages. Now, what that means is that it markedly increased the cost of eggs in California. So approximately over $2.50 a dozen. Eggs routinely run $1.25 a dozen. But the bottom line is that California sets standards in order to bring food products into their state. They have to be produced under these sets of rules, which violates the Commerce Clause of the Constitution. We could come in Louisiana and say you have to have 120 centimeters, for a chicken, and then you couldn't, so no other state could send eggs to us. And then you could do it for milk or beef or whatever. And so initially, a suit was filed by Missouri, which sells a lot of eggs in California, on behalf of the violation of the Commerce Clause of the Constitution. And the federal court ruled that since it was only affecting a subset of citizens, the egg producers, and the suit wasn't brought by the citizens as a whole, that it was not valid. I disagree with that because anybody producing anything is by a subset of citizens. And now we're saying that this further violates federal law because of the Federal Egg Products Inspection Act. It basically says that no state or jurisdiction can require standards of quality, condition, weights, quantity, or grade, which are addition to or different from federal standards.
I'm assuming that because this is, the Supreme Court ain't playing, that Louisiana egg producers, that we sell a lot of eggs to California. What's the percentage?
No, we don't, actually. It's not that. That's not the issue. Most of our eggs, we have two egg producers here. Now, we do have California companies that are raising broilers, right? Poultry for, direct consumption. And they send a lot of their own product back to California. But it's about every product. This is a landmark case because of the precedent where an individual state can violate the Commerce Clause of the Constitution. That's why we're a country, so we can send products from state to state by setting up rules for production that are different from other states.
It would be like Mike, if we said all the natural gas that you get has to be offshore, has to be from the Gulf. That would be us making a rule like that. Then nobody could get our natural gas, or vice versa. We could do rules about our rice that we export. Correct?
That's correct. Well, it would block them from coming into the state. So we could say, if you want to sell milk in Louisiana, then your cows have to be pasture only, and they have to have barns of this size. You could set all these rules, and you could set rules that basically no other state but you could participate in. And then, therefore, they couldn't send product to your state, and your state would have a monopoly within the state of the products that it grows. And if you look at what happened with the eggs, the price of eggs tripled in cost to California. And initially, a congressperson that represents California, I think it was Feinstein from California, tried to pass a law that would mandate that eggs be housed and hens housed under these conditions nationwide because California had become non-competitive in their egg products. That didn't pass. And now, so they're blocking the sale of eggs from other states going into California unless you follow their production rules.
So,
which, again, violates commerce clause. So the reason we're doing this, because this has very large implications as to the overall transaction of business across the United States, and it would allow an individual state to set up parameters to block commodities from coming into their state.
How soon do you expect a ruling?
Yeah, what's the time frame?
Oh, well, generally when you look at the Supreme Court, you hope that you're there within 6 months. Sometimes it takes a year.
Ag Commissioner Mike Strain, it's an interesting debate. It could impact lots of industries.
Lots of things.
You bet. Thanks for your time. Hope we can catch up with you again after the new year and talk about what's coming for Louisiana.
Thank you.
You bet. Thanks.
29 past 7 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Erin's got local stuff getting ready right now. In the meantime, Ruben's ready.
The intersection at Hearn Avenue and Midway Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Hamilton Road near Barksdale Boulevard in Bossier City. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, mostly cloudy today with cold rain at times. Temperatures will hold in the 40s, cloudy, low 37 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
The wildfires in California continue to burn and spread. One witness described seeing the blaze coming closer to him and to his home.
All we heard was the fire was in Santa Paula, and then it was, next thing you know, we looked in our backyard and it was over the hill.
California's been battling wildfires in recent months, causing thousands to evacuate. The Bossier Council votes 4-2 against an ordinance that would have allowed public alcohol consumption in the new East Bank district and at the boardwalk. Those for the measure said it would have provided a more business-friendly and festive atmosphere and bring in more people. Those against say the ordinance would have kept families away from the area. Could a management change be on the way at University Health? State Representative Cedric Glover says we have to do something.
We've got to at least be willing to not continue to operate the way we have, but acknowledge that there are challenges and that there is an unlevel playing field that Shreveport is operating under in so many different ways, and begin to be willing to go down and fight for.
State Senator Greg Tarver says our area has been seen as stepchildren for the most part.
I know one thing. I know the people who control in this situation is from South Louisiana, and I don't believe they have North Louisiana best at heart. They treat us like stepchildren. They think we're part of Texas, not Louisiana.
Ochsner is working on a deal to help manage the hospital. Contractors claim they haven't been paid for work at the new aquarium. Matt Parker with that.
A group of subcontractors are alleging that they are owed roughly $262,000 for work done on the new Shreveport Aquarium. The group filed liens against Planet Aqua for the unpaid sum. Jake Woods, spokesman for Planet Aqua Group, says the group is working to make sure all due payments are paid in full. Africa Price from the city of Shreveport says that Planet Aqua is fulfilling all lease obligations with the city. From 1017 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
A Houghton man dies in a crash on I-49. Stephen Lane of Houghton died in the crash on the interstate. Lane was headed north when he collided with a disabled semi-trailer rig on the right shoulder of the road. Impairment not suspected. Shreveport police investigating 2 early morning shootings in Cedar Grove. The first happened just after 1 on Babylon Street. The victim was shot in the abdomen. About a half hour later, another person was shot 3 blocks away on Bethany Turner Lane. The condition of both victims unknown. Police still searching for suspects. A cold front has crossed the state, bringing Louisiana its coldest weather of the season. State climatologist Barry Keim says by Friday and over the weekend, we'll see temps in the 30s in the morning with afternoon highs in the 50s. He says there's also a chance for a light freeze across our region.
Those folks certainly need to protect your pets, plants, pipes, and people. And, of course, that holds true for the entire state in terms of protecting your plants and your pets and people as well, because, like I said, it's going to be a pretty chilly run.
Keim says even as the front moves offshore, clouds and rain will stay in the forecast. Louisiana Secretary of State Tom Shedler says they're looking at replacing voting machines. He says tampering with the current machines is remote, but a new system would further decrease the chances of tampering. He's waiting approval from the State Division of Administration. If he gets the okay, the new touchscreen system would provide better confirmation for voters.
It would produce, after you vote on the screen, an actual paper ballot that would show you exactly how you voted.
The Harris County DA's office says it's bringing significant charges against 5 detention center officers accused of beating an inmate last year. Assistant DA Jules Johnson announcing the charges.
The Harris County grand jury elected to indict 5 detention officers employed with the Harris County Sheriff's Office. Ringel, Roel, Diegler, Harmon, and Garibay.
Jerome Barty says he was attacked by the officers in September of last year while being moved to a medical ward. A lot of buzz about the future of Darius Geis at LSU. He says he'll decide about his future after the Citrus Bowl. He's expected to be selected in the first round of the draft. If he leaves early, Tiger Rag editor James Moran says he'd be shocked if Geis stayed another year.
The fact that he's been dealing with a knee injury all year, I think that NFL teams will like the fact that he was able to tough it out and play hurt. I would think coming back for another year and risking a more serious injury or just, the general adage about miles on the tires of a running back, or at least have the potential to do damage to his draft stock.
Another sports note, already a nominee for Time's Person of the Year award, Colin Kaepernick received the Muhammad Ali Legacy Award at the Sports Illustrated ceremony. The former football player says he hopes to live up to the legacy the award's namesake represents.
I accept this award not for myself, but on behalf of the people. Because if it were not for my love for the people, I would not have protested. And if it was not for the support from the people, I would not be on this stage today.
Kaepernick began protesting before the start of NFL games by kneeling during the national anthem. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
It is 7:36, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin. Quickly, we've got just a couple of minutes, maybe a little less, to review for everyone the trouble already with the aquarium.
Yeah,
and the associated restaurant Salt. What's the deal?
Some subcontractors say they're owed more than $260,000. They filed liens against the Planet Aqua Group and the general contractor. The Planet Aqua Group folks say they're working to get to the bottom of it to make sure that the subcontractors are paid.
Well, now, if, and I'm just guessing here, if Planet Aqua had paid the big contractor Because you got the contractor between them and the subcontractors. Fair enough?
Sure.
So if they'd paid the contractor, wouldn't they say, well, we paid the contractor?
Yeah, it's really not our
I mean,
problem.
I don't know. Or are they willing to take the hit and just not be as vague as possible because whoever this contractor is with their associated subcontractors are still working on the old/new Skyport, and you don't want to burn any bridges.
That could be part of the problem. That could exactly be part of the problem. We're trying to get a hold of the folks at the aquarium.
And what's the deal with the restaurant? They're having trouble. Parky, you know more about that than anybody else. What have you found out about Salt was the name of the restaurant?
It still is the name of the restaurant, but they're changing leadership, completely changing the menu. According to what Jake Wood told the Shreveport Times, hey, you know, we heard some criticism, so we're out with the old, in with the new, so we can better serve the community.
Fellow's name is Stephen Wagaspak. He's the president and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. He is standing by. He is coming up next, 7:39, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, and the KEEL app, a free download from Office Furniture Source. Ruben's here with traffic.
The intersection at Uri Drive and Southfield Road's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now, and we have some traffic delays on Benton Road, just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, mostly cloudy today with cold rain at times. Temperatures will hold in the 40s, cloudy, low 37 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
It's okay to call him Wags.
I'm just going to call him Mr. Steve.
Okay, that's good.
741, it's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. On the phone with us now is Mr. Stephen Wagaspak. He is the president and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Hey, Mr. Steve, how are you this morning? Thanks for taking time.
Good morning, guys. Appreciate y'all having me on.
I want to start with Smoothie King down in, well, I guess they're in Metairie now. They were in Covington. And a couple of times, including now, Smoothie King world headquarters in Louisiana, but they're threatening again to move to Texas, specifically Dallas. Have they previously, are they once again trying to, am I overspeaking, extort money from the state of Louisiana? What do you think about this? Is there another solution?
Well, I think they're responding to market conditions we've seen over the last, I don't know, you could argue back to the 80s, where we've seen larger corporate entities leave for other states. And it's a myriad of reasons. The perception out there is it's because they're looking for a handout. But that's not what I encounter most times. What I hear when companies say is they have trouble finding the qualified workforce at that level. They're mid-level managers types. They can't recruit them to come to Louisiana. They can't find them internally. When they do try to recruit them and bring them here, what they find is, in many areas, the local school system isn't an option for those employees, and so you have to start factoring in private schools. So I guess I'd lump it into this quality of life type issue that goes a lot. So as a company grows and expands, and they've got to bring in that next level or two or three of horsepower, quite frankly, the biggest issue I hear a lot is we haven't found a way to provide the quality and caliber of workforce that a lot of these companies are looking for. We have great workers here that can do a lot in the oil and gas and manufacturing and chemical and production and agricultural space. When you get into that high-level corporate area where you're looking for more complex degrees of some sort. We haven't quite kept up in that space.
So basically, yeesh, what you're saying is that Smoothie King is telling the state of Louisiana, when it comes to matching up with structure, lifestyle, education, you guys just don't stack up well against Texas. Is that what they're saying?
Well, I think what they're saying is what every other company said since the 80s, when we've seen our skylines dwindle and our neighboring state city skylines go up, that it's a complicated solution on whether a company is going to grow and expand. It deals with tax, it deals with infrastructure, it deals with education, it deals with workforce. There's a whole lot of ingredients in that gumbo. And quite frankly, our recipe has been damaged for about 40 years right now. And that's what it is. So there's no single shot solution, but you could have the same issue when you're looking at, Raising Cane's, which is a great Louisiana company that invests a lot of money in Louisiana regions. But, their corporate headquarters has moved to Dallas in the last couple of years. Albemarle, which is in Baton Rouge, they've moved to Charlotte. They had trouble recruiting candidates to come in and work here and expand here. So, look, there's nothing that we're proud of, but we have to really understand the issue. There's a perception that handouts are what encourage corporations to move to a place. I find that is usually a very minor piece of an economic deal. Usually it is as they try to build out their workforce and their infrastructure and the tax code that they have and the quality of life that their people ask for. That's where they say that we're falling short against other states. That's a tough reality to face, but that's what we're hearing.
Stephen Wagasback with Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Let's talk taxes. Federal lawmakers, the Senate and the Republicans, working on a tax plan that would lower the business tax rate from 35% to as low as 20%. You are in the trenches. What does this mean for businesses, expansion, and jobs in Louisiana?
Right now you have the House and the Senate who have a little different version of how they're looking at several of these deductions. And so, over the next 2 weeks, we expect a final conference committee report to come out and hopefully be passed. The president and the leaders in Congress have both said by December 22nd they want this done. On the manufacturing front, which I guess is the ones that we are hearing the most on the federal tax reform at this point in time, how you apply certain credits to that. The Senate has an alternative minimum tax component to that where you couldn't apply your research and development credits and things like that. So that disincentivizes you to bring in certain new R&D type expenditures here. They're worried about that component. The House has said they want to take that out. If they clean up a good amount of that, I think you will see a immediate benefit from a national perspective. That you will see some of this out-migration of corporate investment we've seen over the years come back to American shores. So that's a good thing. On the Louisiana front, most of the companies we talk to, they're LLCs, they're S-corps, they're Louisiana homegrown companies. Those are the folks that they're saying, okay, but what about us? How do we benefit from that? And so we have to look at that pass-through provision. They're still debating the final language of how they're going to treat pass-through income. Those are those companies that you're more familiar with in Louisiana, who they're a business, but they file through the personal income tax code. How do you treat that personal pass-through income? That is a piece of the final bill that we haven't seen the final language on yet. And so that's what we're most focused on right now.
The business climate for 2018, you've done some projections. I know you're looking at hoping to see some good news, but you're concerned, right?
Yeah, I am concerned. The uncertainty on the federal front, is like, look, we know they're going to cut taxes. We're just trying to figure how much and in what way. That's kind of a good uncertainty. The uncertainty on the state tax front is obviously a different one. The tax code has changed pretty much every 6 months for the last 3 or 4 years. We're expecting another run for more tax increases at the Capitol next year. That uncertainty is a wet blanket on the economy here in Louisiana. We've had some good numbers. Employment numbers aren't bad. They're actually trending in a good way. The two pieces of that people should keep in mind, though, is the national unemployment numbers are a big reason why we're kind of being drugged, through by the national economy. The second piece is we have less people in the workforce today. So our percentages look better because we have less people looking for jobs today. So those are two issues we're watching. In our employment numbers, there's what I consider to be a bubble in the pipeline. We have the construction industry that is really a big piece of our job number growth, and that is because we've got some of these big mega projects that have come in. Excuse me, I'm stopping a call.
No problem. I understand. It's probably one of our KEEL listeners who's trying to ask you a question.
Or the governor, who knows?
Yeah, it could be the governor.
Yeah.
Stephen, let me ask you this.
Hello?
You still there? Hey, it's us.
I'm sorry, I had a call come in and knocked me off. I apologize. The last thing on the construction front, we have a lot of construction jobs that are being busy right now in Louisiana because these big mega projects, there's not many in the pipeline. So after we finish some of these, we're worried these construction workers are going to migrate to other states.
One real quick last thing. Locally, we've got, the Elio Motors. We've got lots of things in our community that have kind of been stagnant. Do you see any movement here on any of the fronts that we've been struggling with?
Well, in the last couple of months, Shreveport has seen losses as the state's gone up. Shreveport has seen some losses, and so we are worried about that. There seems to be some life coming back in that Haynesville production, so we're hopeful that can kind of come in and bring some momentum there. But, I would love to tell you I can point to a specific action that's happening up there. We'll keep pounding that rock and see if we can get some good news going, though.
But you do see energy for Louisiana at least, and specifically for our part of the state. You're kind of optimistic about that.
Yeah, I think so. Look, it's been a tough last couple of years, as you all know. But that natural gas price, if it comes up a little bit, and it has some, to where it starts triggering production, but not so much that it scares away that chemical and manufacturing base, that is that right balance we need as a state to succeed on both fronts. And I think we're seeing that price come up a little bit. So I'd love to see onshore oil production come up as well. That has not happened. But on the natural gas front, I'm fairly optimistic.
And any sector that you're concerned about or really worried about for next year?
I'm worried about what I consider our service-based sector. Our restaurants, our caterers, our supply companies. If you go to certain parts of our states, those are the companies that hold inventory. They service other companies. Those are the ones that have really been the backbone of the Louisiana wealth over the years. As we've lost some of these bigger investments and as we see less incoming investment from other states, there's less for those entities to service. And so that's what I'm worried about. The big boys, at the end of the day, they're going to find a way to be okay. It's that service-based economy that has really been the backbone of what we've tried to produce over the last several decades. Those are the guys I'm most worried about, and that's what we have to watch closer than ever.
Any concern about the casinos?
I haven't heard good or bad much from them. I think, I'd have to do more, listening on that one. I have not heard from them whether they feel especially bullish or feverish about 2018.
Stephen Wagasback, Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Thanks for your time today.
Hey, guys. Sorry for the glitch on the phone. I don't know what happened.
No worries. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to y'all.
Good morning, 751. It's 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Fletch and Sports. That feller is standing by. In the meantime, Ruben's right here. Traffic update.
The intersection at Hearn Avenue and Midway Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Hamilton Road near Barksdale Boulevard in Bossier City. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Mostly cloudy today with cold rain at times. Temperatures will hold in the 40s. Cloudy, low 37 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
It is 8 before 8 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Time for sports. Here's Timmy.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Former Elysian Fields Yellow Jackets head coach and current SMU head coach Chad Morris is reportedly in negotiations with Arkansas to become the next Razorback football coach. Morris had a 169-38 record as a Texas high school coach, including a pair of state titles at Lake Travis. He rose through the college ranks as the offensive coordinator at Tulsa before taking the same position at Clemson.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Mostly cloudy today with cold rain at times. Temperatures will hold in the 40s. Cloudy, low 37 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Chad Morris could be announced as early as today as the head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Speaking of the Hogs, last night they wore out visiting Colorado State in basketball 92-66 in Bud Walton Arena. The 6-2 Hogs have won all 4 of their home games by an average of 25 points per game. Sophomore C.J. Jones led Arkansas with 19 points to match his career best. Former North Caddo Rebel Robert Williams had 4 points and 7 rebounds and missed a half-court game-tying three-pointer by just a matter of inches as the Texas A&M Aggies fell for the first time this season, losing in Arizona 67-64. And 6-1 Louisiana Tech hosts 7-1 Stephen F. Austin tonight at the Thomas Assembly Center at 6:30. If you like scoring, you're going to like this game. Both of these squads average over 80 points per game. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Yo, Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty once again for Twin City Appliance, online, twincityappliance.com. As you know, follow me on this. I have 2 brothers and 2 nephews.
Yeah.
2 brothers, 2 nephews. Let's play a little multiple choice game.
Okay.
Which of them has recently learned that appliances, specifically major appliances like ovens and ranges and microwaves and dishwashers, recently as they have become more digital, like automobiles, they are more complicated, i.e., you probably shouldn't try to fix them yourself.
Yeah, I bet all of the above.
Brother A, Brother B, Nephew C, or Nephew D?
Yeah.
Which of those 4 learned the hard way that they should have called Twin City Appliance to repair said major appliance?
I'm thinking all of the above.
I don't think. Well, at some point they all had advice.
Yeah.
Here's the point. Those are complicated deals. If one of your big appliances goes on the fritz, call somebody who is trained and experts in that repair. Don't do it yourself.
Call Twin City Appliance.
I was going to say, you interrupted me from mentioning a name, and I can't thank you enough. Twin City Appliance, online, twincityappliance.com, or 318-688-0253. .757, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Next hour, we're going to talk about Darius Geis. Here's the question, and I'm being totally serious based on the Leonard Fournette situation.
I know.
Should all players who have a possibility of being drafted in the NFL draft this coming spring, should they sit out their bowl games to avoid the possibility of injury?
I ain't got a problem with it.
Should Danny Etling skip the game? Should Geis skip the Citrus Bowl? We will explore. 7:57, here's Hannity, and he's on KEEL.
Turn up your radio. Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
And once again, the network news channels decided to ignore a major component of the corruption of Mueller's Trump-Russia probe, doing, of course, you a disservice, the American people. Over the weekend, the news broke that the FBI agent Peter Strzok was kicked off Mueller's special counsel. Why? For sending disparaging text messages about President Trump. Now, that news received a mention from both CBS and NBC's morning shows. However, As the day unfolded, so did details of the agent's influence over Comey's decision not to pursue criminal charges against Hillary Clinton. But according to Newsbusters, well, come Monday evening, NBC Nightly News failed to even mention the new development when reporting on the agent's removal. While CBS News, they didn't even mention the special counsel at all. Okay? Does it not bear repeating? Journalism in America's dead.
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
1017 FM and 710 Keel. You'll hear all the news our city is talking about. If you think about changing the dial, we'll slap your hand. Breaking news and trending talk. 1017 FM and 710 Keel. KeelNews.com.
Good morning, 759, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Traffic just ahead of Fox News. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Line Avenue and Piermont Road's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're looking at some backed-up traffic on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. It's backed up past Benton Road right now. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, mostly cloudy today with a cold rain at times. Temperatures will hold in the 40s, cloudy, low 37 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 1017 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport.
3 past 8, Robert and Erin, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. KEEL app's a free download. Sounds awesome. I know we both just checked. And Erin's got local news. She is organizing as we speak.
Are you ready for freezing temps? We'll talk about that. Freezing the money. Is there a problem at the aquarium? We'll talk about that too. And the Bossier Council says, to that alcohol ordinance.
Try this again. Is the aquarium underwater? Try that. See how that tease works.
Is the aquarium underwater?
I don't know. There is something going on. Plus, Darius Geis specifically. I'm telling you, I'm not letting this go. The kids shouldn't play. Edling should skip the Citrus Bowl. Why take a chance of injury in a game you describe as totally meaningless, even if it is Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Plus, Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, and it's all coming up this hour right here on KEEL.
Barclay.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
A cold front has crossed the state, bringing Louisiana its coldest weather of the season. Climatologist Barry Kime says we can expect to see clouds and lingering rain through tomorrow. He says break out those coats.
Low temperatures this morning are in the 40s across the state, and high temperatures this afternoon are only going to reach into the 50s. And the temperatures are going to continue to fall over the next few days.
He says temps this weekend will be dipping into the 30s. Shreveport police investigating 2 early morning shootings in the Cedar Grove neighborhood. The first happened just after 1 on Babylon Street. The next happened about 3 blocks away on Bethany Turner Lane. The condition of both victims not known. Police still searching for suspects and trying to determine if the shootings are related. Contractors claim they haven't been paid for work on the new aquarium. A group of subcontractors alleging they're owed roughly $260,000 for work done on the aquarium downtown. The group filed liens against Planet Aqua for the unpaid monies. Jake Wood, a spokesman for the aquarium, says the group is working to make sure all due payments are paid in full. All sides working on a deal for the management of University Health. State Rep Cedric Glover telling KEEL News one key issue is fair funding.
Truth of the matter is, had we had fair funding for the Shreveport Medical School and the Shreveport Hospital from the very beginning, we may not ever be talking about having to bring in an outside partner.
State Senator Greg Tarver says we need to look to the future and work for growth.
Because this is all about one identical thing. Growing LSU Med School, because LSU Med School have stopped growing since BRF had the contract. We need LSU to grow and to prosper. And if they prosper, we prosper in Louisiana and North Louisiana.
Oshner is working on a plan to help manage the hospital. Bossier leaders vote down an alcohol ordinance. Matt Parker with that.
The Bossier City Council voted 4-2 against an ordinance that would have allowed public alcohol consumption in the new East Bank district. Those for the bill said it would have provided a more business-friendly and festive atmosphere and bring in more people. Those against say the ordinance would have kept families away from the area. From 1017 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Stephen Lane of Houghton has died in an accident on I-49. He was headed north on the interstate when he collided with a disabled semi-trailer on the right shoulder of the road. Impairment is not suspected. A 7-car crash shut down a part of I-220 in Shreveport last night. The accident happened on the Red River Bridge between Benton Road in Bossier and North Market in Shreveport. No one was seriously hurt. A man gets sentenced to 4 years for robbery. Ryan Hirams of Shreveport sentenced to 4 years in prison for breaking into a Princeton gun shop and stealing 44 guns. He's also been ordered to pay Clark Custom Guns more than $27,000 in restitution. The same vicious winds that were making 3 Southern California wildfires so destructive were also making the firefight more difficult. Water dropping planes and helicopters that have been mostly grounded because it's too dangerous to fly, the commanders hope to have them back in the air today. The nation's homeless population increased this year for the first time since 2010. The government says most communities saw an increase, except where the West Coast, where a decline continues. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Nine past, almost at 7 o'clock. Oops. 9 past 8. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Time for traffic. Ruben's ready.
The intersection at Line Avenue and Piermont Road dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're looking at some backed-up traffic on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. It's backed up past Benton Road right now. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Mostly cloudy today with a cold rain at times. Temperatures will hold in the 40s. Cloudy, low 37 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Licensed in all states.
Twelve past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. KEEL app's a free download. Office Furniture Source. Sounds awesome.
You're such a moron.
Man, Matt gets $20 every time somebody downloads it in Bitcoin.
It's working good, by the way.
I'm going to show you this headline, and it will tie into a previous conversation we've had. In fact, a conversation we had a year ago. And it is, in fact, a conversation, a topic that you started of some controversy. But, well, hold on a second. I'm going to hold this up so they can see it on camera, too. Can you read it? Parky, is that on camera?
It is. Nobody can read it, but they can see the story.
Is that better now?
Can Danny Etling become the next Tom Brady? Wow.
You just rolled your eyes.
Wow.
Can you imagine Tom Brady 2.0 when you watch Danny Etling from LSU, then go back and watch Tom Brady when he was at Michigan? They are very similar. Neither quarterback had much flash in college. Both are very accurate and make very few mistakes. Both are game managers, and both would rather take a sack than throw an interception. So the question is, can Danny Etling emerge in this year's college draft as the next Tom Brady? May I continue? Are you intrigued by this, or do you find it ludicrous?
Ludicrous.
Ludicrous?
Yeah.
Tom Brady didn't start out his college career as a starter. In fact, he had to struggle and fight in order to get playing time. After he was drafted, Brady wasn't an automatic franchise quarterback either, etc., etc., etc. So, my question to you is, and you know where I'm going with this, if Danny Etling is going to, and a lot of people, a lot of pro scouts see Etling as, look, he's going to get drafted. He will be drafted, probably a late round pick. And they see him as sort of a Matt Flynn type.
Brady was a late round pick, right?
Solid backup, a legitimate pro, if not a star.
Okay.
That's the optimistic view of Danny Etling. If you're Danny Etling, and you know you're going to get drafted. Look, this is going to tie in with Darius Geis.
I know.
Geis has been fighting a knee injury all season. The big question is, and he hasn't really committed, wasn't there some kind of controversy toward the end of the year with Geis, whether he as a sophomore, or is he a sophomore?
He's a junior.
Whether he as a junior should be allowed to participate in senior night, because it was probably going to be his last home game in Baton Rouge.
Not sure.
And there were some overtures, I think, by the coaching staff that, you know, Darius, it's going to be his last game. Maybe we ought to let him walk out there and get hugs and flowers and mom and dad, and the band should play, because he's kind of like a senior, except he's not. There was a lot of blowback.
Yeah.
But pertaining to Darius Geis, pertaining to Danny Etling, pertaining to any other LSU player, or
Arden Key,
or let's expand to literally any college player who has a chance to be drafted in the NFL and make a ton of money. How many times have you said the Citrus Bowl, LSU against fill in the blank, last year Louisville, this year Notre Dame? How many times have you said this game doesn't matter a lick?
It doesn't.
It doesn't matter a whit, an iota. It doesn't matter an ounce. So my question to you is, LSU fan, rabid, crazed, cross-eyed LSU fan, if Darius Geis, look like Fournette last year.
Yep, sat out the Citrus Bowl last year.
Man, I've been fighting this knee injury all year, and I'm in line to make a couple $1 million. I've decided since my fans realize, the school's fans realize, that the game doesn't matter a lick. I'm just going to sit out and not take a chance on injuring my chances at becoming a millionaire. What if Danny Etling, projected to be a mid to late round, projected by some, Danny Etling, the next Tom Brady? Now, that may be a little silly.
Stretch.
But the point being, Etling, what if he said, you know, I'm going to get drafted? This game doesn't mean anything. I want to be healthy for the combine. What if I fall on my shoulder?
I'm good with that.
What if I go Tony Romo and crack a clavicle?
I'm good with that. Let me give you 2 points. You don't know the name Jalen Smith, do you? He had torn knee ligaments in the bowl game. It dropped his draft position by the NFL scouts from a high first-round pick all the way into the second round, where the Cowboys took him. The draft folks say it cost him tens of millions of dollars. Point 2, an NFL personnel executive is quoted as saying, and this is a quote directly, Put yourself in their shoes. An injury could change the course of the rest of their lives. We're not talking about a left guard here. We're talking about skill position players who are huge targets. That is the reality of it.
So you would have not a problem in the world with Darius Guy saying, "Sorry, boys, sitting down. Sorry, coaches, you'll find me on the bench. I may not even make the trip. Orlando's nice. Universal's cool. Disney ain't bad. I'm staying in Baton Rouge and lift weights and work out."
Leonard Fournette sat out. Christian McCaffrey sat out last year.
Would you have a problem with Danny Etling skipping the game? Would you have a problem with Darius Guy skipping the game? Would you have a problem with literally any player at the college level who is going to be eligible for this spring's NFL draft? Would you have a problem with any player saying to the coaching staff, "Love to, boys, love the school, love my alma mater, but I got to look out for number one"?
I have no problem with anyone on the LSU team doing that.
Because at the end of the day, or the Notre Dame team.
Now you put me in the Final Four, it's a different argument.
There's only 2 games that really, really matter.
Yep, that's it. Now, Dabo Sweeney, he said, this is a quote from him. He said, those who are going to sit out, those who are going that route, might as well sit out their entire senior season.
Exactly.
He said, quote, "You can get hurt in any game, and every game is huge. It's about team, and there are always risks involved when you play this game. And the players all have insurance policies." Leonard Fournette, he said, had like a $900,000 policy on him if he got hurt in the bowl game. But still, it could cost you, like Jalen Smith, tens of millions of dollars in your contract.
So I reiterate, Erin McCarty doesn't have problem one with any college player who is going into this spring's draft saying to the coaching staff, "You know, guys, you just ain't worth it. I got mom and dad and me and to take care of."
What if you have an injury where you will never play again? You get a back injury, you don't walk again,
or a knee
you never
injury,
play
you're
again.
never the same guy.
And you're in a bowl game. What does this bowl game matter?
Say it. Citrus Bowl means
nothing.
19 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic update coming up right now. People are spitting at the radio.
That's okay.
It's our goal.
Wipe it with a wipey.
Traffic time. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Line Avenue and Piermont Road's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're looking at some backed-up traffic on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. It's backed up past Benton Road right now. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Cold rain at times today, remaining cloudy with temperatures holding in the 40s. Cloudy tonight, low 37 degrees. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
.101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Fletcher time. Here's sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Former Elysian Fields Yellow Jackets head coach and current SMU head coach Chad Morris is reportedly in negotiations with Arkansas to become the next Razorback football coach. Morris had a 169-38 record as a Texas high school coach, including a pair of state titles at Lake Travis. He rose through the college ranks as the offensive coordinator at Tulsa before taking the same position at Clemson, working under Dabo Swinney for 3 years, and then he moved from there to becoming the head coach at SMU, where he is currently 14-22 after 3 years. The Mustangs won only one game the year before Morris arrived in his first year. He doubled that up, and then last year won 5 games. This year, they're 7-5 and will face Louisiana Tech on December 20th in the DXL Frisco Bowl. Once again, Chad Morris could be announced as early as today as the head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Speaking of the Hogs, last night they wore out visiting Colorado State in basketball 92-66 in Bud Walton Arena. The 6-2 Hogs have won all 4 of their home games by an average of 25 points per game. Sophomore C.J. Jones led Arkansas with 19 points to match his career best. Former North Caddo Rebel Robert Williams had 4 points and 7 rebounds and missed a half-court game-tying three-pointer by just a matter of inches as the Texas A&M Aggies fell for the first time this season, losing in Arizona 67-64. And 6-1 Louisiana Tech hosts 7-1 Stephen F. Austin tonight at the Thomas Assembly Center at 6:30. If you like scoring, you're going to like this game. Both of these squads average over 80 points per game. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Twenty-five past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Robert and Erin. What did I say at the headline? A little headline thing, a little tease thing, top of the hour. Aquarium, taking on water, underwater. What's the deal? Are they wait a second. How long have they been open? 60, 75 days?
Since November,
and
beginning of November.
Is what's you had the story in the news.
Yeah.
Matt wrote a post. It's online at keelnews.com. Both of you guys join hands and fill us in.
Well, the contractors claim they haven't been paid for work at the aquarium. You got people like electricians, the plumbers.
Well, they're going beyond claiming. They've gotten lawyers.
Yeah, and these are subcontractors who now have filed liens against the Planet Aqua Group and the general contractor. It's the Weiland Group, I guess.
Weiland something. There's 2 names attached to it. I don't have it in front of me.
And Jake Wood, a spokesman for Planet Aqua, tells the Times that they are working to make sure all the payments are paid in full. And the city, Africa Price from the mayor's office, says Planet Aqua is fulfilling all lease obligations to the city.
Pardon me just a second. Oh, go ahead, Matt.
Well, I was going to say the second part to Miss Africa's statement was right now they fulfilled all their obligations, but if the things start coming off the tracks, we will do what we have to do to protect our interests.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell does that
Which
mean?
we still own the facility.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I guess you can read into that what you will.
I mean, can you kick them out and then you own the aquarium? You own some fish?
Ooh, lucky us. Because,
Shreveport
we are so well qualified to run an aquarium.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my question. And if you're Planet Aqua, if you're the aquarium right now, and you've paid the contractor, but the contractor hadn't paid the subcontractors, and you release an official statement, is that what you say? Because that's not what Mr. Jake said.
No, his exact full quote of what he emailed to the Shreveport Times is, quote, Planet Aqua Group has communicated with the city that we are working with Weiland, the general contractor, to make sure that any liens or outstanding invoices are satisfied as soon as possible. It is our priority to ensure that all due parties are paid in full.
Now, I've reached out to Jake this morning, and usually they get back pretty quick, but I haven't gotten a response. He could be out of town. They could be doing something else.
You want to talk about it?
Well, I mean, I want to know, is it the general contractor that's not paying up? Is it Planet Aqua that's not paying up?
Back
is
to my
it a
original
combination?
point, if you're Planet Aqua, if you're the aquarium, and you've paid the contractor, and the contractor has dropped the ball, wouldn't you say, or would you, or since you may have in fact employed this contractor and the subcontractors that go along with the deal, and they are currently working for you on across the street at Cyport in the renovation of Cyport, maybe you just kind of say, well, it's all going to be okay.
Right.
Because you don't want to step on any toes. You don't want to throw anybody under the bus.
To slow that project down, yeah.
Meanwhile, there is also trouble at Salt, the restaurant.
Yeah, it's getting a facelift.
But you've only been open 60 days.
Well,
I mean, is this because you're getting?
You've heard the. I mean, if you're honest, you've talked to people who've gone, and the reviews have not been good. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. People that I know that have gone have not been that pleased, and so they're making some changes to try to get folks to come.
Yeah, Parky from KEELnews.com.
The restaurant's getting a new menu, new hours. They're hiring new leadership. They're bringing in live music. Basically, they may be open and they're not changing the name, but they're changing everything else. That's what I kind of read into it.
My idea for Salt the restaurant, and people don't like this idea, but I think it would be brilliant. I think it's a restaurant where you go to the fish tank, you pick out your meal. I'll have that fish. They didn't go for that. I want have a separate tank where you can pick the fish you want to eat.
They seem to be rapidly approaching.
I didn't like that idea.
They seem to be rapidly approaching last resort. It may not be off the table, no pun intended.
They're hiring a new restaurant and kitchen manager. Maybe you should throw in an ad.
Maybe I'll throw it out there.
Welcome to Salt. Grab a spear. 829, 1017 FM, 710 Keel traffic time. Ruben is ready.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Dixie Gardens Drive near East Kings Highway, and we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, mostly cloudy today with cold rain at times. Temperatures will hold in the 40s, cloudy, low 37 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
The wildfires in California continue to burn and spread. One witness described seeing the blaze coming closer to him and to his home.
All we heard was the fire was in Santa Paula, And then it was, next thing you know, we looked in our backyard and it was over the hill.
California's been battling wildfires in recent months, causing thousands to evacuate. The Bossier Council votes 4-2 against an ordinance that would have allowed public alcohol consumption in the new East Bank district and at the boardwalk. Those for the measure said it would have provided a more business-friendly and festive atmosphere and bring in more people. Those against say the ordinance would have kept families away from the area. Could a management change be on the way at University Health? State Representative Cedric Glover says we have to do something.
We've got to at least be willing to not continue to operate the way we have, but acknowledge that there are challenges and that there is an unlevel playing field that Shreveport is operating under in so many different ways, and begin to be willing to go down and fight for.
State Senator Greg Tarver says our area has been seen as stepchildren for the most part.
I know one thing. I know the people who control in this situation is from South Louisiana, and I don't believe they have North Louisiana best at heart. They treat us like stepchildren. They think we're part of Texas, not Louisiana.
Ochsner is working on a deal to help manage the hospital. Contractors claim they haven't been paid for work at the new aquarium. Matt Parker with that.
A group of subcontractors are alleging that they are owed roughly $262,000 for work done on the new Shreveport Aquarium. The group filed liens against Planet Aqua for the unpaid sum. Jake Woods, spokesman for Planet Aqua Group, says the group is working to make sure all due payments are paid in full. Africa Price from the city of Shreveport says that Planet Aqua is fulfilling all lease obligations with the city. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
A Houghton man dies in a crash on I-49. Stephen Lane of Houghton died in the crash on the interstate. Lane was headed north when he collided with a disabled semi-trailer rig on the right shoulder of the road. Impairment not suspected. Shreveport police investigating 2 early morning shootings in Cedar Grove. The first happened just after 1 on Babylon Street. The victim was shot in the abdomen. About a half hour later, another person was shot 3 blocks away.
We've got to at least be willing to not continue to operate the way we have, but acknowledge that there are challenges and that there is an unlevel playing field that Shreveport is operating under in so many different ways, and begin to be willing to go down and fight for.
I know one thing. I know the people who control in this situation is from South Louisiana, and I don't believe they have North Louisiana best at heart. They treat us like stepchildren. They think we're part of Texas, not Louisiana.
Shedler says they're looking at replacing voting machines. He says tampering with the current machines is remote, but a new system would further decrease the chances of tampering. He's waiting approval from the State Division of Administration. If he gets the okay, the new touchscreen system would provide better confirmation for voters.
It would produce, after you vote on the screen, an actual paper ballot that would show you exactly how you voted.
The Harris County DA's office says it's bringing significant charges against 5 detention center officers accused of beating an inmate last year. Assistant DA Jules Johnson announcing the charges.
The Harris County grand jury elected to indict 5 detention officers employed with the Harris County Sheriff's Office. Ringel, Roel, Diegler, Harmon, and Garibay.
Jerome Barty says he was attacked by the officers in September of last year while being moved to a medical ward. Lot of buzz about the future of Darius Geis at LSU. He says he'll decide about his future after the Citrus Bowl. He's expected to be selected in the first round of the draft if he leaves early. Tiger Rag editor James Moran says he'd be shocked if Geis stayed another year.
The fact that he's been dealing with a knee injury all year, I think that NFL teams will like the fact that he was able to tough it out and play hurt. I would think coming back for another year and risking the more serious injury, or just, the general adage about miles on the tires of a running back, or at least have the potential to do damage to his draft stock.
Another sports note, already a nominee for Time's Person of the Year award, Colin Kaepernick received the Muhammad Ali Legacy Award at the Sports Illustrated ceremony. The former football player says he hopes to live up to the legacy the award's namesake represents.
I accept this award not for myself, but on behalf of the people. Because if it were not for my love for the people, I would not have protested. And if it was not for the support from the people, I would not be on this stage today.
Kaepernick began protesting before the start of NFL games by kneeling during the national anthem. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
You know, we got this 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Do you have the list in front of you? We can come
I
back.
do. I'm going to mess up how you say it,
No,
though.
that's all right. We can give it, what we can spell it. And,
Okay.
and 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, because I'm going to be there tonight from 6 to 7.
12 days of shopping local.
This is the gelato place at the Kroger Center, right a couple doors down from Silver Star.
Paciugo. Paciugo
As close as I can get.
Gelato Cafe. Sounds
it's
good.
Awesome. It is absolutely great.
They've got a big prize to give away this afternoon. They're going to be, it's a great new business.
Like I said, I'll be there this evening, broadcasting live from 6 till 7.
I told you earlier, and I don't know if you want to do this now. It's too late because I'm going to do it.
You know what? Go ahead. We've got 30 seconds.
5 questions on what I watched on TV this weekend.
The Cornhole Championship on ESPN.
How did you know that?
Because everybody had it on Facebook this weekend.
How did you? You didn't even have to ask me one question.
No, I know. It's because
it was
everybody
a cornhole championship.
Yeah, everybody was talking about that on it was on
Oh
ESPNU.
my God, I loved it.
What?
It was. I watched it. This is embarrassing.
Was this like
I watched it from start to finish. Florida rocked it.
Florida, like University of?
Yes, it was an SEC contest. It was
It's-
all the SEC teams.
It's a college sport.
Yes.
Cornhole is a college
Cornhole
sport.
Do you know that the
Beanbag
beanies,
toss,
the
beanbag
don't just call them bean bags. These are intricate bags. One side is silky.
Yeah.
One side is sticky.
Uh-huh.
They throw it with different sides of the bag. If they want it to slide, they throw the silky side.
One
If
side
they
is
want it to
silky.
stick, they throw the sticky side.
There's a Sheets joke in there somewhere.
Oh man, I was like intrigued.
It's 8:39, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
You blew my whole day now.
I am beaming. I am beaming inside. Traffic. Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Dixie Gardens Drive near East Kings Highway, and we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Mostly cloudy today with a cold rain at times. Temperatures will hold in the 40s. Cloudy, low 37 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
842, it's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, and KEEL app's free download office furniture source.
Mhm.
Let me just slough that over. It's very important stuff.
Yeah, please download it.
How many times have you and I sat in this room and in reference to University Health Hospital or the medical school or anything related like Biomedical Research Foundation, anything like that, regarding Representative Cedric Glover and Senator Greg Tarver, and said, isn't it amazing how these two men look at the same thing?
Right.
And yet see two completely different things.
I don't get it.
Ask
I don't
them
get
their
it.
opinion, and it's two completely different assumptions, outcomes, analyses, etc.
What are the chances of you and me taking both of them to lunch? Don't laugh.
I'm not.
And saying,
Oh, wait, I was.
guys, this is really important to our city. You two need to, sing Kumbaya, hold hands, and come together.
Now, it's interesting you make that
You
point.
think they would go?
It's interesting you make that point, because yesterday morning at 7:20, we had we had Cedric on first, didn't we? We had Representative Cedric Glover in the 7 o'clock hour talking about the potential, the possible deal, or at least the agreement in principle between Ochsner Health System and University Health Hospital and Biomedical Research Foundation. And Mr. Cedric said, it's a pretty good chance this will all come together, at least an agreement in principle by the end of the year, i.e. within the next 25 days. And then we talked about, what was the phrase he used? We talked about what he's talked about a million times, about how in his mind and the minds of many, that University Health Hospital is getting the short end of the stick financially.
Right.
As opposed to the charity hospitals in New Orleans,
who get way more money.
And then the 8 o'clock hour, we had Senator Tarver on. And he talked about what a lousy job Biomedical Research Foundation has done, how they don't pay their bills, the same thing that he's told us 100 times. But then at the end of his conversation, he said something that was in total agreement with Representative Glover. We've always said, wouldn't it be, you just said, get together.
Yeah.
See things the same way. Can't you just come to... Yesterday morning, they did, when they discussed that one of the major, if not the biggest problem with University Health Hospital, the finances, the management, etc., is in fact who has control. Cedric Glover, a year or more ago, said on this very radio station, I stopped him in his tracks when he said this. I said, hold on. That may be the singularly most controversial thing anybody's ever said on KEEL. When he said there's a South Louisiana plot to destroy Northwest Louisiana. Step by step, bit by bit, brick by brick. And in fact, this is what he's talking about in microcosm, in reference in this soundbite to how University Health Hospital is run and how we, specifically legislators in North Louisiana, have to band together, what was his phrase? Put on our big boy britches.
You bet.
And fight for the money.
We've got to at least be willing to not continue to operate the way we have, but acknowledge that there are challenges and that there is an unlevel playing field that Shreveport is operating under in so many different ways, and begin to be willing to go down and fight for.
An unlevel playing field compared to whom? To South Louisiana.
Yep, and that we've got to go fight for our share of the pie.
And the funding that the New Orleans and other South Louisiana charity hospitals get, what's his number? 32 cents on the dollar we get. Then Senator Tarver comes along in the 8 o'clock hour. And we talk about a whole bunch of things, the possibility of the deal. What does he think about it? Generally, what Mr. Gregg says, he says, I can't say yes or no, but as it stands right now, what was the phrase? Approach with a good degree of caution. And one of the points, the specific point that Senator Tarver made over and over again, he said, What the hospital has to do is to be able to maintain its independence. Independence from whom? From South Louisiana, from the control of South Louisiana, because he, seeing eye to eye, good heavens, with Representative Glover, they agree on something that maybe there is this, I don't want to say intrastate civil war going on between North and South Louisiana for state funding, for money. But then he turned around and imagine, this is like something that Cedric would say when Senator Tarver said the following.
I know one thing. I know the people who controlling this situation is from South Louisiana, and I don't believe they have North Louisiana best at heart. They treat us like stepchildren. They think we're part of Texas, not Louisiana.
My offer stands. If you know Senator Tarver, if you know Representative Glover, we want to take them to lunch. We'll pay. We'll sit down. Let's sing Kumbaya. Let's get this fixed.
2 magic words, fellers. Drive-through. 849, it's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic time right now, just ahead of your money now. Here is Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Dixie Gardens Drive near East Kings Highway, and we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, mostly cloudy today with a cold rain at times. Temperatures will hold in the 40s, cloudy, low 37 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
You're listening to American Ground Radio's Morning Minute.
In the wake of the fake news fiasco by Brian Ross, ABC News' president, James Goldston, has put out a statement to his entire department saying that they have to raise their standards. He said, with the stakes as high as the stakes are right now, we cannot afford to get it wrong.
And a powerful vision can transform an organization. Dabo Swinney, after he was named coach of the Clemson University football team in 2008, had a trustee who came up to him and said, we want to create a football program that is like some of the other great programs in the country. To which Dabo replied, my vision is to create a program where they want to be like us. Raising standards in our country is a step in the right direction.
American Ground Radio, where building a better America begins with building a better us. Return each weeknight from 6 to 7 p.m. with Louis R. Avalone and Stephen Parr on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL and streaming live at KEELnews.com.
855, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin. Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884. Saturday's the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Saturday at 3, we once again a major integral, necessary, unavoidable,
disposable.
Can't get rid of us part of the Benton Christmas, which is an awesome afternoon.
Yeah, it's the annual Benton Christmas on the Square Festival and Parade. It's going on from 10 to 4.
Right.
Parade rolls at 3.
Now, what is our official title this year? We are the Super Turbo Assistant Lady in Waiting Grand Marshal.
Yeah, something like that.
If a car breaks down, we push.
Yeah.
Watch out for the horse poopy in the
Yeah,
road.
put us in front of the horses,
Yeah,
please.
that's our one demand.
One
we
rule.
We don't have a lot of demands.
Front of the horses.
We've got beads. We've got candy to throw. Rule number 1, we only have one demand. We're in front of the horses.
Come out and see us. We'll throw you all. If you holler Robert and Erin at us, we will throw you all kinds of stuff.
Well, I duck. She throws lots of stuff at you, but we got plenty of candy
Oh,
and stuff
yeah.
to throw. It's going to be a great year. It's one of my favorite times.
It's going to be sunny, just cool. Just bundle up. That's all you got to do.
Is it really going to be cold?
Yeah, it's
well,
gonna
it
be
is
cold.
Christmas time, for God's sake.
Yeah, it is.
Back tomorrow morning, 6 till 9, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, Fox News, just a couple of seconds away. Moon Griffon getting ready. In the meantime, here comes Kim Commando.
Let's confront this one head on. YouTube has a black eye, a bad one. Over the past few weeks, it's lost both advertisers and credibility after what can only be described as a YouTube pedophile video outbreak. YouTube has decided to take action, kind of. Kim Commando with your Wednesday Consumer Tech Update. There's no question that YouTube's management stood on the sidelines, and they were slow to react when groups of perverted and sick users began posting a series of videos depicting young children being subjected to violent and sexual themes. Pedophiles were clearly behind it all. Now, YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki is trying to clean it up. She's hiring 10,000 YouTube reviewers to screen content. But YouTube claims it's taking 300 hours of new video every minute. More than 1 billion YouTube videos are viewed every day. And so, YouTube, please explain to us all how the hiring of a measly 10,000 new worker bees is going to clean up your very serious problem. I'm Kim Commando. Santa's got a big secret. He's got a way this holiday to cut printing costs for your small business or home office. Everyone knows how crazy expensive it is to replace printer cartridges, and that's why Santa's bringing the new Epson EcoTank 2750 wireless all-in-one printer. It's an awesome printer. Large, easy-to-refill ink tanks means cartridge-free printing. The ink tank is so large, the one that we use here at the Kim Commando Show, we haven't had to refill it yet. Imagine a printer that comes with enough ink right in the box to print for up to 2 years. That's 5,000 pages without having to buy a single ink cartridge. That's the equivalent of up to 30 cartridge sets. Did you know that would cost about $1,000 to buy 30 cartridge sets? A saving of $1,000 in the coming new year. Cartridge-free printing with EcoTank. It's the smart choice. What a great holiday gift for everyone. The Epson EcoTank ET2750. Learn more by going to Epson.com/EcoTank. Epson, exceed your vision.
1017 FM and 710 KEEL. You'll hear all the news our city is talking about. If you think about changing the dial, we'll slap your hand. Breaking news and trending talk. 1017 FM and 710 KEEL. KEELnews.com.
But I had nothing else to say, Matt says. It's never stopped you before. 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. 8:59, time for traffic. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Dixie Gardens Drive near East Kings Highway, and we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, mostly cloudy today with a cold rain at times. Temperatures will hold in the 40s, cloudy, low 37 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Breaking news and trending talk.